For Rinko, coming home to the smell of freshly cooked dinner and someone waiting for you to come home and eat it is something that she always has thought of a normal thing. However, in the past, she wanted something normal like that to the point that she would even buy people with money because she was that desperate. 12 years ago on a crosswalk, a few high school girls gathered around taking pictures of a guy who was laying on the ground while passed out. They murmur to each other as they assume the reason the guy was in that state and wonder if he is drunk or maybe is brave enough to be able to sleep here with no security and common sense at all. Everyone goes back to what they were doing after a while as the lights change and the world starts to move again. The traffic moons around him as he lays there still. A girl passes by the first time and comes back. The second time is time for the pedestrians to walk and stares at the guy. She asked if he is okay, and the guy slowly opens up his eyes and murmurs that he is not really okay and asks himself where he's because he does not know how he stupidly ended up there in a weird situation like a total idiot. Rinko yells out to people around her to call for an ambulance for this guy, but she sees that no one is around her anymore except cars. The guy is still stupidly laying on the ground in a weird position. He tells her that going to the hospital is a bad idea for him because he is so dead broke that he cannot even afford an insurance. He asks if Rinko is an elementary student, and she nods as she tells him that she is in the 6th grade. He asks her with a strained voice if she can grant him one wish and asks for some money from her. The guy sits in front of the convenience store as he eats cup ramen heartily as he thanks her for helping him out because he passed out of hunger on the crosswalk. He tells her not to talk to strange people because there are a lot of bad people in the world, totally oblivious that he sounds and looks exactly like one of the strange people he is telling her to stay away from. Rinko thinks of herself this weirdo is using other people's money to eat ramen and wonders what is wrong with a guy like him. As he is chewing on the noodles in his mouth, he pauses to ask her why she is alone so late at night and asks her where her mother is. Rinko goes stiff at this question and stutters to change the subject to him sleeping in a place like a crosswalk. He doesn't even have money, even though he's an adult. He laughs as he points to himself and calls himself a kept man. Rinko was so shocked by this confession of his that she is at a loss of words to stay and just stares at him with a "Are you for real" expression on her face. The guy continues to say that he was kicked out 3 days ago and he does not have a place to stay, so technically he's a homeless bozo. He explains to her what a kept man means and just tells her that it is a guy who is jobless and does not earn anything and only depends on women helplessly. Rinko is in shock and awe of what she's witnessing in front of her, and not in a good way if she tries to excuse herself as she turns around to leave. The guy stands up and follows her to say that walking alone at night is dangerous and asked if he should send her home, not realizing that he's a stranger to her. That is offering to follow her to her home like a total creep. Rinko also voices out how dangerous it would be for her to tell a stranger like in her address. He nods as he hands her a paper with his name, Haruno, on it with his phone number. She asks him what it is, and he tells her that he is giving it to her because she saved him from dying of hunger on the street. He tells her to call him whenever she is in trouble and ask for her name. She walks away as he tells her not to ask him to give the money she lent him back. Rinko walks home as she thinks that she should not have approached a weirdo and lame guy like that, and all of a sudden she sniffs the smell of grilled fish coming from a house. She feels sad as she thinks to herself that she only gets to smell dinner from other people's house instead of her own. She enters her apartment too and sees how dirty it is. It looks like a dark hole with garbage everywhere. She sits lifelessly on the table with a pot of ramen in front of her and says out loud how much she hates it. Her mother still has not come home. The first time her mother did not come home at night, she left her some money. For every next time she kept on doubling the money, and now she just feels tired of it all. At a grocery store, she reaches for cup ramen, and she notices around her is a mother and a little kid. The mother asks the little kid what he wants to eat for dinner and admires how cute the two of them look. She's snapped back into reality as someone calls out her name, and she is surprised as she turns around to see a little boy same age as her with his mom. He asks what she is doing, and she tells him that she is Jay. Us running some errands, and the guy asks what she is hiding in her hands. She turns around to leave and excuses herself, but the kid catches her grocery basket and notices that it is all cup ramen. His mother scolds him as he looks at Rinko and says that she always comes for groceries alone and wonders what happened to her mom. When Rinko hears this, she has the same horrified expression on her face whenever someone talks about her mother. Back at home, she sits on the floor as she looks at the fish in her fishbowl. She bites her nails in anxiety as she recalls the words from before and says that she also wants to know where her mother is. She talks to her pet fish as she says that it must be starving and decides to feed the fish at least. A paper comes into her hands as she looks down to see the number from that weird guy from earlier. Permanent holds a 5,000 yen note in his hand towards the sky with a silly smile on his face that Rinko gave to him. She tells him to buy a lot of food with that money for her, and that he can buy whatever he wants to buy. He asked if he can really do that because he can buy something for her that she wants to eat. Riko nods and tells him that she will be waiting outside and explains that her parents are not at home, and it is her turn to do groceries, and Haruno nods as he says that he will come back soon with groceries. When he comes back, she notices that he brought a lot of fresh food instead of cup ramen. He tells her that he did not know what she liked, so he just picked whatever he saw. She tells him that she wanted him to buy some cup ramen for her because she does not know how to properly cook, so she's a bit troubled by all the fresh food you bought for her. Haruno tilts his head as he squats down on the ground like a puppy and offers to cook for her in exchange for eating with her and sharing a meal. He asks what she wants to eat and lists a number of dishes like curry and omuris and burgers. He decides on making a stew as he smiles sweetly. Back in her home, he washes his hands at the sink with all the ingredients prepared as he assures her that he will be done with cooking in no time and tells her to wait while he cooks. Rinko looks really nervous because she does not know if it is okay to be with a stranger in her house. If you do that, actually you might end up getting kidnapped or robbed, so it is a very stupid decision to make. She feeds her pet fish as she is debating on what to do, but she suddenly gets a waft of delicious food cooking in the kitchen as she looks over at Haruno. She realizes that she has been wanting to eat freshly prepared dinner for a while. She has always been missing the warmth and kindness of someone to prepare food for her to eat. She tears up and starts to cry without making a sound because she does not want to let Haruno find out that she is crying because of the food he is preparing for her. The dinner is set on the table and Haruno and Rinko both sit as she takes a spoonful of stew into her mouth. She thanks him with a smile on her face and tells her that it was really delicious. Haruno says that he gladdened tells her that she shouldn't be so quick to be glad and happy. He tells her that they have a lot of time on their hands and that she should eat a ton of food. Eating all the food is the only thing she should care about. Rinko almost starts crying again when she hears his words and tells him that she is really happy because this is normal for other kids to have home-cooked meals, but for her, has been a very long time since she was able to enjoy home-cooked food like that. She starts to sob as she wonders what she had done to deserve such loneliness in her life. She's the only one that has to go through something like this. After all, she just wants to be normal like everyone else. Haruno looks at Rinko with sadness and stops to say that she might not be normal. What if she was normal? Then the two of them would have never met. The night they first met, she was the only one that reached out to him among all those people. Rinko is a good kid after all, even if she is not technically normal. Hearing this makes Rinko stop crying and the light in her eyes returns. Horino excuses himself as he thanks her for letting him stay for dinner and tells her that he hopes the two of them see each other again. Rinko clutches her skirt timidly as she slouches down and musters the courage to ask him if he has a place to stay, knowing fully well that he does not. She asks him if he wants to stay at her house. Haruno immediately declines as he says that if he stays with her family will totally be shocked to see a stranger in their house. Riko tells him that her family will be coming home and apologize it because what she says before about her family, they were all a lie. In actuality, her mother has left for a week now and she does not even know when her mother will be back. Her mother is all she has, but Haruno does not have anywhere to go. LD be convenient for him. Again, this is not possible. In reality, please never let a stranger that you barely know inside the house to cook for you, and even more, never ask them to stay at your house. Horonum smiles as he bends down to Rinko's level and thanks her for worrying about him, but he explains like someone with some amount of common sense that he is an adult who is homeless and jobless, and that is why the two of them should not be together too much for her own sake. He turns to wave at her as he is taking his leave and tells her that he is going to go back to being a kept man. Rinko pauses as she asks him if all she has to do is provide for Horonum. Hearing this makes Haruno turns towards her as a bunch of money rustles towards him that Rinko holds in her hands up to him. She looks at him with a determined look on her face as she tells him that she has enough money to provide for him as a cat man. Haruno is surprised as she asks him to take care of her using the money she's going to provide him with. When Rinko asks him to take care of her, Haruno suddenly beams as he takes on her offer. He sits down and takes the money in his hands as he says that Rinko has a lot of money on her and has been a while since he has seen this much money. He thanks Ryuko to take care of him from now, and he can just call him by his name instead of Big Brother. Ryuko looks taken aback as she starts to instantly regret ever making that offer to him by saying that she may have acted on an impulse, and it may have not been too much of a good idea to let someone like him stay with her on account of providing money to him. Hermano runs a towel through his hair and says that she even lent him some clothes that are Hermon's clothes. He totally seems to be at home now as he opens the fridge and asks if he can take some juice. Rinko points it out as well that he is already taking it while asking her. He boasts about how lucky he is to meet someone like Rinko. Rinko pauses and asks if he hates something like that being taken care of someone like her that is a kid, and Haruno looks at her questioningly as he tells her that he does not mind. He goes back to his juice and notices that the expiry is that very day and takes it on himself to drink all of it by himself. Rinko is shocked that he does not mind being taken care of by a kid, and she wonders what is wrong with someone like him who is not fazed by any of this and acting like everything is normal. She stutters while she's out of energy and tells him that she is feeling sleepy, so she will head to bed, and Haruno nods and says that he will head to bed too. Rinko sits in her bed, and Haruno jumps into her bed as he marvels at how soft the bed is. He wonders how many days it's been since he was able to sleep on soft bed like that, and Rinko stares at him like he is crazy and asks why he is sleeping together with her. Haruno pauses as he stares in her, and then he says that he totally forgot and did it out of habit. Ryuko shoves him off the bed and into his room that is next to hers, and tells him not to come into her room ever and to sleep in his room. Ryuko lays in her bed as she thinks that there is no way that someone normal with common sense would take on a crazy offer that she offered anyway, and thinks how weird Haruno is. She backtracks and thinks that she is the weird one instead. She just asked a stranger to take care of her out of nowhere, and she does not even know why she did that. When she was younger, Rinko got a fish from a festival she was attending with her mother, who held her hand while walking. Her mother tells Rinko to take care of the fish properly, and Rinko asks if the fish will be lonely now that he has been separated from his other friends. Her mom tells her that gradually the fish will get used to it and survive, and she shouldn't suddenly use fresh water for him. He needs some of the original water, which will make him feel like at home. Now at home without her mom, Rinko asks her mom if she thought she could also swim on her own and get used to being alone. Rinko wakes up from the dream she was having and sees Haruno sleeping with a stupid expression on his face, completely unaware of his surroundings. Rinko stares at him with a horrified expression as she screams out and wakes up the entire neighborhood. Haruno, who has just woken up from sleep, rubs his hand through his hair as he tells her that it is a misunderstanding. It looked like she was having a nightmare, so that is why he wanted to check on her. And then while he was looking after her, he ended up falling asleep. Rinkovik's ready for school as he tells him that she already told him her room is off limits. Rinko talks to herself as she realizes that maybe the decision she made yesterday was too rash, and no matter what, she should not have made such a decision to bring a strange guy into her home. Haruno reaches out to her and whines at her not to throw him away because they even made a promise. He tells her that he will make her breakfast before she goes, and she remembers that she has to feed her fish. When Haruno asks what she wants to eat for breakfast, she tells that she is running late, so she will not be having any, and tells him to eat whatever he wants to eat. He waves her goodbye and tells her have a nice day and to take care. Rinko pauses as she notices that this is the first time she has had someone tell her that before she goes to school. When she comes at school, is already class time, and her friends say that it is rare to see Rinko being late, and Rinko smiles politely as she tells them that she overslept a little, and they ask her if her mom was not there to wake her up. Rinko hums as she smiles and says that her mom overslept as well. They start to talk about random stuff as Rinko is just there thinking that everything is going to be okay, and she won't be discovered with a stranger in her house without her parents knowing. This time, she will make sure that she is normal like everyone else in life. One of her friends, Sumer, says that she also wants to come over to Rinko's place, and the two of her friends decide to visit her house the next time. Rinko is surprised as she does not know how to kindly refuse them and hums as she says that she will have to ask for permission from her mother. Obviously, she is just saying that because she wants to be polite, but she is never ever going to invite them. She can never let her friends find out that her mom does not even come home, and moreover she has a strange guy that she does not even know personally, and that she literally bought with money, is staying at her house without anyone knowing. She can't let anyone know her secret. She comes back home to see her Bruno sleeping on a pile of garbage bags, and she stares for a bit and yells that he should not be sleeping on garbage. He notices that there are alcoholic cans around him, and her tantrum abruptly ends when Haruno gives her a sweet smile and welcomes her coming home. He tells her that he was told by her that he could buy anything he wanted, and that explains the alcohol, and Rinko says that she's going to go buy some garbage bags and clean up the house. Haruno wants to tag along, and as they step outside he grabs her hand and asks her what else she has to buy. Rinko immediately slaps his hand away, and with a horrified look she asks why he would hold her hand. Haruno excuses himself because it is a habit of his as a kept man. She tells him to fix his habits and to change his clothes before he goes out, and Haruno just listens to her nagging with a smile on his face. Just then, Rinko's neighbor Sasaki introduces herself and asks who the guy next to Rinko is, and Haruno is about to introduce himself as a kept man of Rinko, but Rinko cuts him short and tells Sasaki that Haruno is her cousin. Haruno decides to play along. Rinko tells Sasaki that her mother is out on a business trip, so Haruno will be staying with her for a while now. She starts to say that since her mother worked so hard, there was no choice. She even told her mother that she can live by herself, but she said it was not okay and decided to ask Haruno for help. She starts to sort of project her insecurities, and when Haruno notices her breaking down, he adds in that Sasaki is a good kid, and one could say that she is the one who is taking care of Haruno instead of other way around. He excuses the two of them and grabs Rinko's hand and pulls her away from Sasaki. Outside the grocery store, Haruno sits as he smokes and thanks her for buying it for him. Rinko looks like she has a serious expression on her face, and she apologizes for troubling him and turns around to go back home. Rinko says that he probably knew about the situation with her mother. That is why he decided to play alone and dragged her out. Rinko is taken aback by the fact that he knew, and Haruno tells her that he did not do anything like that, and he never sticks his nose as other people's business. He sees that Rinko starts to cry, that she does not know how to say that her mother abandoned her, and she just lies to other people and looks like an idiot. Hermano tells her that she is a nice and kind kid, and the person she is actually protecting with her lies is not herself, but rather her mother. Rinko stops crying upon hearing this and turns around to tell him that he sounds like an idiot, and there is no way that she is depending on a mother like hers. She says that she is going to go home alone. At home, she lays in bed as she cries in self-loathing. She thinks that she is an idiot because she thought that someday she could return to the time her mother was there with her, but even now she can't get used to being alone by herself. She feels so lonely, but still, when Haruno grabbed her hand earlier today, when she had explained to go home alone, he told that her doing something like that is lonely, so they should go together. As the two of them walk together, she tells her to stop holding her hand like a kid. Rinko reads out the essay she wrote on her future dream. She explains in the essay that her dream is to become a normal adult, and as long as she gets paid for the hard work she did, she is happy with it, and when she does become an adult, she will be able to live on her own without depending on anyone. All of a sudden there is laughter in the class as someone yells out that Rinko does not have any dreams. The teacher also laughs as he tells her to dream bigger because she is still a child and she has potential to do something bigger. Rinko laughs along with them and says that she should think about it again. When she walks back after school, she feels a little heartless. By now it has been 5 days since Haruno started to live with her. He's a stranger and she still can't decide what kind of person Haruno is, and it would be troublesome if he took her money and ran away. But when she opens the door to her house, she sees him sleeping happily on the couch as if he has no intention whatsoever of leaving and running away at all. Haruno wakes up and welcomes her home as he yawns to say that he napped like 4 times and he basically slept all day. It seems to Rinko that Haruno seems to be more at home than herself. She looks at the meal in front of her and asks if he cooked it, and he tells her that he made a kid's meal. He tells her that from now on, he will cook all her favorite food, and Rinko stares at him to wonder why he's so nice and kind to her. Maybe it is because he is a kept man and she pays him, and that's why he is nice to girls. Haruno says that he has a favorite, asks her, and wonders if she can give him some pocket money even if it is just a bit. Rinko was shocked because she was right. He wants pocket money from her, and that is why he can't run away from her. Rinko has the responsibility to fulfill his desires. She gives him 500 yen. She tells him that this is the standard amount in her house and she does not know what he got from others. She feels nervous because he might ask for more, but when she looks at him, she notices a stupid smile on his face as he jumps in happiness and twirls the money he now has. He thanks Rinko for the pocket money, and Rinko is surprised that he is happy with such little amount and wonders if he really is an adult. At school, she looks like she's having a breakdown, so her friends come up to her to ask her if she's okay, and Rinko tells them that she tried to rewrite her essay. But she does not know where to start, and her friends call her as a weirdo because there has to be other things that she wants to do. The two of her friends share that they want to work at tailor shop or maybe a pastry chef because they love to eat or wear cute clothes. Asks if wanting to live independently is something weird, and her friends tell her that she can still live independently while doing something that she loves. Sumer, one of her friends, says that she herself is a cute girl, so she will try to become the wife of a handsome guy. All of this is her passion. Riko says that she has never dreamed of making a family and living together. She always thought that she would live on her own independently. And that is why she wants to not depend on others and be single forever. Both her friends freak out because she has to be crazy to say something like that. After all, they are still kids and they have their own life in front of them. She should think of nicer things instead of that. She comes back home to find Haruno cleaning up, and he tells her that this time when she came home, he was awake. Rinko says that she's not surprised that he is awake, but rather that he decided to clean the house, and Haruno says that he always cleaned his senpai's house as well. She wonders who his senpai is that he is talking about, and he just tells her that his senpai lived here before him, and it turns out to be the pet fish that Rinko has. Apparently, Haruno also cleaned out the fish tank and even fed it. Rinko notices how clean the water of the tank is now, and Haruno tells her that it is bad to change it to fresh. So suddenly that's why he only changed to some of the water. It will take a while before the fish can be in fresh water, but soon he will be able to swim in clean water on his own. Rinko stares at the fish and thanks Haruno for cleaning and cooking and looking after her in general. She really did not know a kept man would do stuff like this, and Haruno laughs, as he says that everyone else he has been kept for tell him that he should do at least this much, and Rinko is the first one to thank him for it. He tells her that he only does things that he wants to, and Rinko realizes that what she thought about him was always wrong and apologizes for ever thinking that he's going to take her money and run away. Rinko sits with a worried expression on her face, and when Haruno asks her why she is sad, she tells him about how her essay did not G. Oh well, the topic was her future dream, and she just wrote that she wanted to be a normal adult who could live without relying on others. But her teacher said that she is still a child and that she should think of other stuff and dream bigger. Other kids all wanted to be specific things, and she was told by her peers that dreams are supposed to be ambitious and she should think of nicer things for herself. She does not understand why she can't think like everyone else. She just wanted to write a normal dream, and that somehow was not normal after all. Haruno tells her that she does not need to change what she dreams of, and Rinko smiles at him, as she tells him that he already knows that she is not normal. Haruno smiles back and tells her that her not being normal does not have anything to do with her dream. All adults also dream of stupid things as well, and what everyone thinks for themselves is not something that fits others. That's why she should not feel intimidated by what her friends dream of. Every dream is fine as it is, and it's normal that everyone has different things that they dream of. Rinko's dream of wanting to become a normal adult is a normal dream, and she should feel more confident in herself. Haruno tells her that he admires her dream because being able to live on her own is a cool thing to do as an adult, and he really does not think that she has to rewrite her essay. Rinko realizes that not once did Haruno mention that she is still a kid and that she can dream whatever she wants to. She thinks that Haruno is the type of person who accepts anyone because for him that is normal. She tells him that he is the only one who did not laugh in her dream, and Haruno sparkles as he wishes her to grow up well, and tells her not to forget that she has to take care of him as well. She looks hesitant at first, and then starts to laugh as she says that it might not be a bad idea if someone lives with her. She thinks of herself that ever since she started living with Haruno has been nice every day, but it is not because he does things around the house for her, but it is because he accepts as she is. She finally decides that she's going to rewrite her essay a bit. The next day at school, she reads out the essay she rewrote. This time she talks about her wanting to become a normal adult like before, as long as she gets paid for working hard, and it would be nice to live happily with someone else. Haruno is dragged by his mother as she asks him if he has done saying goodbye to his friends. Haruno tells her that he is already used to it. It is easy for him to just give everything up instead of holding onto stuff. Ryuko asks Haruno if he wants to go out somewhere on Sunday, and Haruno wonders why she is asking this all of a sudden. Rinko just explains that you must be bored being cooped up in the house all alone every day, and there is a park nearby so they could go together on the weekend. Haruno smiles as he asks if she was looking for a date, and Rinko immediately says that she is only tagging along to keep him company. Rinko thinks that Haruno always helps her no matter what the situation is, and even though she can't give him something luxurious, she still wants to take care of him and give him something in return for always looking after her. She says that she will guide him through the trip and even plan other things, so all he has to do is tag along with her. They ride a bike along the sea and Rinko seems to be having fun, and she confesses that it is the first time she's come to a place like such and is in awe of how the sea smells. Rinko is surprised that they are on a cycle, and Haruno tells her that wasting money on a train is a waste, so he can just ride a bike for the two of them and bring Rinko to places she can enjoy. He asks her to buy him alcohol in exchange, however, sounding like a true alcoholic. Rinko tells him to go to a cafe that is ahead, and Rinko has planned for them to eat at a fancy cafe and then explore the nearby shops, and then they can walk around the park. When she looks at the menu on the cafe, she realizes how expensive it is. Haruno sees that there is a wet market nearby, and Rinko definitely wants to try out the seafood. After getting some skewers, they walk around the beach while eating, and Rinko panics for a bit as she realizes that this was not what she had planned for the two of them. Haruno walks into the water and yelps about how cold the water is. He's just playing around in the water as he slips and gets soaked. Rinko quickly dashes towards him to help him out and takes out a towel to dry him up. Haruno just dismisses her and says that since he is already wet, it doesn't matter, and then goes back into the water. He asks Rinko to join him as well, or at least just for feel, and when she reluctantly steps and she marvels at how good it feels. Rinko thinks that even though everyone did not go according to plan, Haruno still seems to be having fun. Rinko acts mischievous for once and splashes water onto Haruno, who is too busy to notice her and gets surprised when he feels a splash of water on him. He turns back to look in Rinko and approaches her with water in his hands as he's about to splash her as well. Rinko steps back, trying to avoid him by yelling that her clothes will get wet and asking him not to do something stupid that he is definitely thinking of doing. She tries to scare away Haruno by saying that she is evil, and Haruno is shocked and bursts out laughing at the stupid and weird play that Rinko is playing by herself. Rinko threatens him further as she starts to run after Haruno that is running away from her, telling him to run away as far as he can from her. The two have fun running around in the water, and Rinko ends up getting soaked anyway. The two of them sit on stairs nearby and talk about how fun of a time they had together, even though they ended up getting wet. Rinko smiles when Haruno expresses how fun it was for him, and tells him that she is jealous of the way he is because no matter what happens, he never gets depressed. Haruno laughs as he looks out at the sea as he says that he just does not expect anything to happen, and that is why he does not get disappointed and depressed. Rinko asks him why he never expects, and he tells her that if something happens that he does not expect, he can be super happy about it. Rinko tells him to have expectation about what she's planned for them, because she really wants to make him happy. She runs off to get their cycle, and Haruno sits there blankly and wonders to himself how he can go about having expectations, because he has forgotten how to have expectations since it has been a long time for him. Haruno heaves as he asks Rinko if they are going the right way since he has been pedaling for a while now, and he is kind of tired. Rinko tells him that they are going the right way, and she did not know it would be so steep, and tells him that she should get off so that he doesn't get tired. but Haruno tells her that he's fine since they are almost there already. When Haruno crosses the steep road, he comes into view with the beautiful sea, and Rinko tells him that not a lot of people know about a place as beautiful as this. Rinko asks him to stop the cycle, but he pauses before blurting out that he can't stop because now they are going downhill and the brake of the bike broke. The two of them panic as the cycle starts to fall apart and Rinko gets sent forward. Haruno lets go of the cycle and grabs onto Rinko, and before the two of them fall, he looks at how blue the sky and the sea look. Haruno gives Rinko cushion using his own body as they both crash, and Rinko quickly looks at him to see if he is okay. Haruno immediately starts to laugh out loud and exclaims how fun it was for him because he has not felt something so thrilling in such a long while. Rinko says that she definitely felt like they were flying in the sky when they were walling, and Haruno laughs and sits up to say with excitement that they were definitely fly for a second. He gives her a cute smile that shocks her as he says that the whole experience was amazing for him. Rinko thinks that even though Haruno is always smiling and happy, but when she saw her laughing just now, it felt like he was laughing for the first time in genuine manner. They walk back home and Haruno tells Rinko that he really had fun. He thinks back to when he was a kid that was leaving and transferring school, and he had to say goodbye to his dear classmates, which happened often. Every time he had to say goodbye to them, each time he got more used to it that before, and eventually, he lost the ability to have expectations of something fun happening. Hermano tells Rinko that even as a kid, he had never played like he did with her today, almost as if he had given up long ago to have fun, and he never thought he would be able to have fun and play like this again. He always used to think that you would never get the chance to do something like this, especially when he became an adult. Rinko, as she listens to him talk about some of his feelings, wonders why she felt a bit sad. A girl sits in her bed as she looks through her phone. She comes across a picture of Haruno, and she pauses to say that she has finally found him. Rinko comes back home from school and notices that Haruno cleaned up the fish tank once again. He explains himself that he wanted to redecorate the tank, and Rinko looks happy because of the peace in her life lately. That peace is soon broken because Rinko is having a breakdown trying to cut her bangs short, but she is not able to, and Haruno asks her what she is doing. Haruno stares at her and then decides to do it for her. She tells him that whenever she does it herself, she always ends up cutting her bangs uneven, and she really wants to change how her hair looks. Haruno asks her what kind of hair she wants, and she tells him that she likes braids because there are popular girls in her class that she admires the hair of, and they have 2 braids. Haruno tells her to close her eyes and not to open them until he tells her to. After a while, he tells her to open her eyes and shows her a mirror. Rinko sees herself in the mirror, but now she has 2 braids and looks adorable. She looks happy and wonders how he made it look so good. Haruno laughs as he tells her that he is used to doing hairstyles for girls, so he can do it for Rinko as well. He says that he has to go, and Rinko stops him because she wants to ask if she can go with him because he did the hair for her. They walk around the mall where there are hair accessories, and Haruno tells her to look around a bit, and she tells him that she does not know a lot of fashion. She comes across nail polish named Powder Pink, and he notices her interest in the product. Rinko looks away as she says that she won't get it because it won't look good on her because she always ruins her nails by biting them in anxiety. She looks down to see her nails and expects to find ugly nails, but in surprise when her nails look normal. Haruno pushes her to get the nail polish and goes to buy it for her as a present, and tells her that he used the money she gave to him as the pocket money. She thanks him for getting her the first nail polish she's ever gotten. And they go to the supermarket to buy groceries. Rinko feels a bit nervous if she is going to meet someone from her school again, but Haruno cuts off her thoughts and asks her what she feels like eating for the dinner, and when she tells him to make anything, he decides to make her favorite. After they get groceries, they walk back home, and Rinko asks him if she can help him prepare dinner. She ends up sobbing while cutting onions, but she still insists on doing it herself, but he tells him not to push herself. Rinko tells him the reason she can't cook is because her mom never used to cook at home, but after Haruno started to live with her, the house always smells like freshly cooked dinner. She always wants to come back home early because of that scent. She wants her mom to come back home using that scent as well, so she wants to cook or at least help him prepare food. She thanks him for being kind to her. All of a sudden, the doorbell rings and Rinko runs to open the door thinking it could be her mother who has come back home. When she opens the door, she sees a woman that is definitely not her mother. Hermano comes from the room to the door and notices the girl and calls out to her. The girl looks at him and asks him how long he is going to stay with his new woman this time, so it goes further to say that he will make it so that the new woman can't live without him, and then he will ditch her when he finds someone new just like what he did to her. She starts to yell at him for being someone who shows fake generosity, and that he only says empty words. Ringo is completely stunned at the woman's words. Many different thoughts are running through her head, like who is this woman and what is she talking about? On the contrast, Haruno seems completely unbothered by the sudden appearance of the woman and calmly explains to Rinko that she is Koyori, the woman who took care of him before Rinko took him in. Koyori immediately confronts Haruno, stating that she has been searching for him ever since he left. Like a delusional ex, Koyori had been stalking Haruno online and finally saw a post about him sleeping on the intersection. She tuned into a private detective and tracked down that intersection near the train station where she waited every day to look around for Haruno. And that's how she eventually found him, when she spotted him and Rinko walking past that intersection after leaving the nail polish store. Rinko becomes distressed when she realizes that this woman followed them back home. Koyori refuses to back off, stating that she thought he would recognize her worth when she kicked him out and come running back to her. Her rage-filled eyes resemble those of a wild beast when she exclaims that Haruno already forgot about her and started living with another girl. She speculates that he is living with a single mother, Rinko's mom. The stranger danger is strong as Koyori forcibly enters Rinko's house to look around for her mother, but she finds nothing but a cold, empty house. Haruno tells her that it's only him and Rinko there as he joyfully pats Rinko's back and states that this little kiddo is the one taking care of him. He smiles obliviously and claims that he is currently Rinko's kept man. Both women look at him with shock and confusion, and an uncomfortable silence fills the room. Koyori's expression turns into that of a crazy yandere girl, and she grabs Haruno's collar, asking him if he thinks she's an idiot. Haruno couldn't care less about his life, as he continues to brush Koyori off when Rinko steps in and explains that he's Telly. In G the Truth, Rinko says that she asked Haruno for a favor. Koyori decides to hear Rinko out, and after a detailed explanation, she understands the situation. Koyori confirms that Haruno is taking care of this child while her mom is missing using the money her mom left. Haruno continues to play off the situation as something totally normal, but Koyori is not having any of it. She calls Haruno out, saying that even though he's living with such a young girl, he's pretending like it's completely normal. She completely roasts Haruno, saying that she knew he was trash but not to this extent. Rinko tries to defend him again, explaining that their situation indeed looks strange, but she's only able to hold on and wait for her mother like this because of Haruno's kindness. Koyori can't even fathom how Rinko could call Haruno kind. Koyori is spitting straight facts as she explains that someone who is actually kind wouldn't do something like this. Koyori's words hit Rinko hard as she recalls how Haruno only agreed to help her after she offered him money. Hopeless, Rinko continues to defend Haruno, arguing that he is a kind person after all. He cooks and cleans for her every day. Suddenly, seems like Haruno finally has some remorse when he smiles sadly and tells Rinko that Koyori is right. He looks straight into Rinko's eyes and states that even he doesn't know if what he is doing is out of kindness or not. Koyori calls them both out again, calling them delusional for thinking that they are good people. She states that someone like Haruno, who lives comfortably on other people's money, isn't a good adult. She tells Rinko that he isn't taking care of her out of kindness, but only because he wants to be fed. She mourns Rinko that when her money runs out, this idiot will leave her and go somewhere else because he is staying for the money, not for her sake. Koyori tells Rinko that if Haruno actually cared about her, he would have informed proper authorities like the police, Chile Consultation Center, and her school about her mother. Rinko can't bear the thought of people finding out about her mother and yells at them to just stop. She screams that if they tell the authorities, she will lose her chance to live with her mother again. Rinko tells them that she has worked hard all this time to appear normal to other people so they don't think badly of her mother, and one day when her mother comes back, they can return to their normal lives like nothing happened. Rinko says that Haruno goes along with Rinko's lies and continues to stay with her and take care of her. Koyori states the obvious, telling them that the money they have will eventually run out. What will they do then? Rinko has a look of desperation in her eyes as she explains that she always comes home properly, even after her mom left, because her mom will definitely come back someday. She asks Koyori to let her live like this and wait for her mom for a little while, stating that she knows full well that they can't live like that forever. Rinko expresses that all she ever wanted was live like a normal kid. Koyori is speechless at Rinko's surprising emotional complexity. Rinko isn't done though. She calls Koyori out, stating that she is the weird one here. Rinko says that Koyori said all those bad things about Haruno, and yet she followed him all the way here. Suddenly, Koyori remembers her time with Haruno. The streets are lit up for the winter holidays as Koyori and Haruno walk together. Koyori looks miserable and depressed when some women nearby comment how attractive Haruno is, but his taste in women is so bad. Feeling worthless, Koyori stops walking and asks Haruno if he's ashamed to walk around with a girl like her. She says that she hates herself and can't find a single thing to like about herself. But Haruno holds her hand and warmly smiles at her, reassuring her that even if she has nothing, she still has the right to live. Koyori remembers how Haruno saved her back then and says that she's in love with him even if he's trash. Koyori exclaims that she can't live without Haruno and goes to grab the knife from the kitchen. Like a total nutcase, Koyori puts the knife to herself and threatens Haruno to come back to her instead of living with Rinko. The situation is too scary for Rinko, who is completely shocked, but Haruno steps up and walks towards Koyori. He grabs her hand and smiles once again, stating that the two of them can live or die together, whichever one Koyori prefers, but only after Rinko's mom returns. Koyori can't believe that he would tell her to wait after she said something like that, but Haruno explains that he agreed to do Rinko a favor. Koyori starts laughing and states that all of his kind words are empty. She tells Rinko that even if he treats you nicely, it doesn't mean anything because he treats everyone like that and no one is actually special to him. She breaks down in tears, stating that she thought maybe she was special to him, which is why she waited for him to come back, but he never did. She storms out in tears and wonders why she's miserable like this after she was finally able to like herself. Suddenly, she hears steps behind her and turns around expecting to see Haruno, but it's Rinko instead. She hands Koyori a band-aid and tells her to use it, but Koyori says that she was only pretending to be a crazy ex and she's not actually hurt. Rinko tells her to put it on regardless, and Koyori asks her if she came out all this way just to give her a band-aid. Rinko says that she has something to tell Koyori. Rinko explains that everything Koyori said about Haruno surprised her because it's totally opposite to how she thinks of him. She says that even though his kindness is shallow, he's still a very kind person to her. She looks at Koyori with determined eyes and says that until her money runs out, she will take care of Haruno. Koyori seems unsettled by Rinko's words, and they stare at each other for a good bit before Koyori falls to the ground and starts crying like a little kid. Rinko has no idea how to console her, as Koyori whines that she is a 22-year-old woman, but she did this to child. The people passing by stare at the two as Koyori continues making a scene. Rinko tries to help her up, but Koyori tells her to just leave her alone. Rinko manages to pull Koyori together, and the two of them go to sit in a cock shop. Koyori whines about that good-for-nothing kept man Haruno, exclaiming that she can't believe he left her for an elementary kid. She knows he'd go for anyone, but still, there must be a limit. Rinko is completely shocked at what kind of situation she ended up in. She sits her coffee in silence and wonders what to do. As Koyori continues to cry and whine, Rinko notices her beautifully painted nails and compliments her. Koyori immediately pulls her hands away and tells Rinko not to look. Rinko looks confused, and Koyori explains that she's embarrassed because her nails are fake. Koyori finally stops crying and asks Rinko if she likes stuff like painted nails, and Rinko tells her that she does. She says that she got that new polish but hasn't tried putting it on yet. She tells Koyori that her nails are powder pink, just like her hair, but colors like that wouldn't suit Rinko. Koyori reassures Rinko that it will look good on her because she's cute, unlike her. Rinko tells Koyori that she's cute too and asks why she keeps saying bad stuff about herself. Suddenly, Koyori pulls out her ID and shows it to Rinko. She looks completely different from the picture, and Rinko states that she's changed a lot. Koyori explains that this picture is from 2 years ago and says that she was much uglier before she met Haruno. Rinko asks her if she changed herself for Haruno, but Koyori tells her that she changed herself for her own sake. She says that she wanted to get rid of her inferiority complex, is the reason she was with Haruno. Rinko is puzzled and asks if Koyori loves him. Koyori's eyes turn warm as she admits that she loves Haruno so much that she almost hurt him. Kuyori once again recalls her miserable past, stating that she hated herself all her life and was used to people looking down on her. She was working as a store cashier and only ever had thoughts about self-loathing, stating that she couldn't find a single thing she liked about herself. One day, she noticed a stunningly beautiful couple, Haruno and another woman at the store. She says that she envies people like that who stand out and don't have to work without a single day off in the entire year. Later, Kuyori accidentally drops her coin while using a vending machine, and a handsome young man picks it up. It is Haruno, and he smiles warmly at Kuyori. Kuyori immediately recognizes him as the customer from before and becomes completely flustered. She thanks him for picking up the coin, but just before she could ask for it back, Haruno innocently asks her if he can have that money. Kuyori recalls that that's how she met Haruno, the man who made her feel like she actually exists. She never thought she could buy fate for a 100 yen coin. Haruno looks totally unbothered and explains that the girl he lived with left him, and so he doesn't have a single penny right now. Kuyori hopelessly lets out her thoughts and says that Haruno has a pretty smile. Haruno thanks her for the compliment and says that it's been a while since he last smiled. The girl he was with told him not to smile because she didn't like his fang-like teeth. Kuyori is completely shocked and screams that that woman was trash. She asks Haruno why he was even with her, and he explains that she covered all of his living expenses because he's a kept man. Kuyori screams that he is trash too. She thinks that this guy is totally weird as Haruno asks her if he can have the 100 yen coin. Kuyori tells him that he can have it, but in exchange for letting her buy him. She thinks that she will not take Thai's relationship seriously and will only use it to fill her emptiness because she is also trash. But Haruno's unwavering kindness and reassurance started to make her actually like herself because he accepted her. She goes to a hair salon and the hairdresser completely changes her appearance, giving her an undercut and dyeing her hair powder pink. Kuyori feels completely unattractive even in this new look. She comes home looking down, but Haruno greets her affectionately. He compliments her new style, calling her cute, but she pushes him away, exclaiming that there's no way she looks cute. She starts crying and regrets trying to change herself, but Haruno hugs her and reassures her that she always looks cute. Kuyori realizes that she's done for and thinks that she will wear this hairstyle for the rest of her life. But she didn't settle for those sweet moments and still wanted more. Before too long, Haruno's kindness that made her fall in love with him turned into poison. She grew him badly, asking him why he wouldn't treat her different from everyone else. Despite being hurt by her, he tells her not to cry and shows her kindness. She cries desperately, wondering why he wouldn't even get mad at her. She wonders if he really feels nothing towards her, not even anger. This shallow kindness is nothing but poison to her, and she tells him to get out, hoping he would come back to her if he actually cares. Kuyori tells Rinko that she fell in love with Haruno, which is why she can't be with him anymore. Rinko is confused by Kuyori's words when she says that everything aside, Haruno living with Rinko is still weird. She tells Rinko that she understands how Rinko feels, but it's a great responsibility for an adult to get involved with a child. She warns Rinko that staying with a guy like that will cause her to snap someday, but Rinko says that only Haruno gives her the time to be a child. She tells Core that she knows this relationship won't last long, so she's only staying with him out of selfishness. She says that no matter how empty or strange Haruno it is, she believes that everything he has done is sincere. Rinko tells Koyor that Haruno is important to her and she can't let him go. Suddenly, Kuyori remembers a time when she felt the same, looking at Haruno's bright smile. Kuyori tells Rinko that she's jealous of her because Kuyori's kindness is poison for her, but it's still something genuine for Rinko. After their long and heartfelt conversation, Kuyori and Rinko decide to say goodbye. Rinko asks Kuyori if she's really fine with leaving without seeing Haruno, and she says that she has no idea what she'll do to him if she saw him right now. Kuyori apologizes to Rinko for making her go through something so scary and promises that she'll never see her again. She tells Rinko goodbye and walks away, disappearing into the crowd. Just as Kuyori reaches the intersection on the road, she looks up to see Haruno standing right in front of her with his enchanting smile. Kuyori is shocked to see the poisonous man she loves standing right in front of her. She can't seem to escape this man and looks at him sadly. Haruno looks at the band-aid on her neck and apologizes, saying it looks painful. Kuyori looks upset and Rinko notices. She follows after her worriedly. Suddenly, Kuyori pulls Haruno towards her and kisses him. Rinko watches in surprise. Haruno looks at her gently and Kuyori says that she really loves his face, his voice, his gentle way of talking, and even the parts of him that make him trash. She looks defeated and says that this is the end. Haruno is speechless at Kuori's feelings. She apologizes to him, saying that even though he accepted everything about her, she can't accept him back. She tells him that she wouldn't be able to forgive herself for accepting any more of his kindness. She tells him that when he treats her kindly, she expects more from him and ends up hurt. She says that she is sure she will hurt him again. She starts crying and says that when she gets like that, she hates herself for it. Haruno isn't sure how to respond, and Kuori tells him that she wants to cherish the part of her that loves him. She wants all of her memories of them to stay the same. Rinko is moved by Kuori's words and the atmosphere seems heavy. Kuori smiles as tears run down her face. She remembers her past with Haruno and says that even if it was a lie, she's grateful to Haruno for telling her that she doesn't have to change. Haruno finally decides to respond. He tells her that it wasn't a lie and he didn't make it up. He says that even though she said she has nothing, she didn't lack anything in his eyes. He genuinely smiles at her and says that that's why he told her she doesn't have to change. But Kuori didn't think so. She worked on herself to change the things she didn't like about herself. Haranova gently pulls Kuori closer and hugs her, saying that he wasn't the one who helped her, but she was the one who took the step to help herself. With a sense of clarity, Kuori finally feels like she can move on. She notices that the stoplight is green and realizes that it's time for her to leave. She tells Haruno not to worry because she won't ask him to come back again. She tells him that she'll throw away everything she has related to Haruno, and she will live without him by her side because she loves him. She smiles and tells Haruno goodbye before walking away. Rinko thinks to herself that just like the scattering cherry blossom petals, Kuori left. For a moment, Rinko could feel Kuori's loneliness but also felt that something beautiful was about to begin. Rinko looks at Haruno and says that they should go home too. Haruno is still not sure about this. He asks Rinko if she's really alright being with him after all. What Kuori said is true. His kind words are empty. Haruno smiles once again with an emptiness and says that he realized he can't save or heal anyone, so it became a habit. At that moment, Rinko remembers Kuori's words, who said that Haruno lacked something just like her, but she was so focused on filling her own emptiness that she couldn't help Haruno. Rinko makes up her mind. She says that Haruno is right. Maybe he isn't the person she thought he was. She grabs his hand and says that she still believes Haruno is in pain as well, and accepting someone for who they are means accepting their pain as well. She still believes that he is a kind person deep down, and says that he was the one who told her that day that it's lonely to go home alone, so they should go together. The two have walked home together once again, having worked through a lot of feelings. Rinko thinks that Haruno has done a lot of things for her, and wonders what she can do for him. The next day, Rinko wakes up and looks around for Haruno. Suddenly, he comes through the door with a huge pile of things, exclaiming that he managed to get a lot of stuff. Rinko is confused and asks him what all this is, and he explains that yesterday Kuori said she was going to throw away all of his stuff, so he went to pick it up. Rinko is still somehow surprised at the length this man will go to get free stuff. Haruno tries to explain it logically, stating that it's getting warmer and he doesn't have any clothes. Going even farther into degeneracy, Haruno says that tomorrow is garbage day, so he might be able to get a new charger. Rinko is reminded of the lazy city crows that dig through the trash to find food instead of working to earn their meals. She thinks that in the end she still doesn't know what she can do for Haruno. Haruno opens the door excitedly and welcomes Rinko home. He's surprised to see another little girl next to Rinko. Rinko's friend Sumire seems totally awestruck looking at Haruno. Inside, the two girls are chatting when Sumire asks about Haruno, saying that she had no idea Rinko had a cousin. She starts fangirling about how handsome Haruno is. She asks Rinko if he has a girlfriend, and Rinko says that she doesn't think so. Sumire thinks that she should have dressed nicer, and Rinko becomes nervous. She recalls that Sumire wants to marry a handsome guy, but he's her kept man. Haruno serves the kids a bunch of treats and tells them to help themselves. Rinko apologizes for suddenly bringing a friend over, but Haruno says he's happy to meet Rinko's friend because they rarely have guests over. Haruno asks her what's the occasion. They open boxes filled with hair accessories, and Rinko explains that they decided to make hair ornaments together after school. Earlier at school, Rinko noticed Sumire's hair ties and called them super cute. Sumire said that it was handmade by her mom, and there's only one of this hair tie in the whole world and it's her favorite. Rinko looked envious of her mother making hair ties for her, and Sumire noticed the emptiness in her eyes. Sumer invited Rinko to make an accessory together because her mom had lots of free parts at home. Rinko immediately agreed to the offer enthusiastically, and Sumer exclaimed that they will go to Rinko's house after school. Rinko was initially uncertain about the idea, but Sumer kept insisting, so in the end here they are. Rinko was worried what would happen because of Haruno being there, but things seem to be going okay for now. Haruno tells Sumer to make something cute, and she's ready to impress her new Prince Charming. Haruno gets up and tells them to enjoy it together as he prepares to leave. Sumer is disappointed and asks why he's leaving already, and he explains that he's just going for a walk, or rather he's going to look for a coin he had dropped earlier. Before he can embarrass her further, Rinko yells over Haruno to shut him up and invites him to make the accessories with them, saying that he will be good at this. After a while, the grind has started. Haruno is totally in the zone, making a beautiful hairpin. Sumer wonders what she should pick, and Haruno asks her what her favorite color is. Sumer tells him that her favorite color is lavender, and Haruno decides on which ribbon he will pick. He uses a lavender ribbon in the hairpin and puts it in Sumer's hair, telling her that it is a welcome gift for coming to their house. Suddenly, sparkles appear around him as he asks Sumer if she will accept the gift. Sumer is totally flustered and exclaims that she will treasure it forever. Rinko becomes exceedingly worried, thinking that Haruno is trying to impress Sumer. She thinks that if this keeps going, Sumer will end up becoming his sugar mommy too. Rinko pulls Sumer away and says that he can't make stuff for Sumer only, he must make something for Rinko too. Sumer realizes exactly what's going on and spills the tea. She says that Rinko is getting jealous, and Rinko adamantly denies it. Rinko becomes embarrassed and exclaims that she only said that for Sumer's sake, but Sumer is not buying it. She continues teasing Rinko, stating that she's never seen Rinko act this way. Rinko is totally jealous. Sumer playfully laughs and Haruno says it's true. He has never seen Rinko like this either. They all laugh together and Haruno says that the two of them get along really well. Haruno pours some soda for the girls and Rinko offers to help him, accidentally calling him Haruno-kun. Haruno says she can call him whatever she wants and asks if Sumer will come back again after all. They seem to get along so well. Rinko smiles warmly and says that she can come over to play anytime if it stays like this. Rinko says that when she first started school here, Sumer was her first friend, and she's glad she was finally able to invite Sumer over. Haruno is surprised to hear about her first attending school here and asks about it. Rinko explains that she transferred here in 5th grade when her parents got a divorce. That's when they ended up moving here. Rinko says that it was hard at first because she was much worse at lying and pretending to be normal, so the others kept a distance from her. She recalls that back then, Sumer was the first one to talk to her. When they were in 5th grade, one day Sumer walked up to Rinko and asked her if she's taking a bath properly every day. Suddenly, everyone else in class started whispering around and Rinko was mortified. She worriedly asked what Sumer meant by that, and Sumer explained that her hair looks messy and she always wears the same clothes. Sumer asked her if her mom even washes her clothes, and that's when Rinko realized that if she doesn't properly take care of herself, everyone will think badly of her mom. That's when Rinko decided to start lying and pretending to be normal. She told Sumer that their water pipes at home don't work properly, so they can't take a bath or wash clothes these days. Sumer decided to help Rinko out and invited her to her house. There Rinko was able to take a nice bath and Sumer helped dry her hair. Sumer says she's glad her clothes fit Rinko and Rinko is totally shocked. Sumer's house was so clean, organized, and well kept. It was like a completely different world. Sumer said that Rinko can come over and take a bath anytime as long as her water pipes are broken, and Rinko thanked her, but asked why she would even do all this. After all, it was their first time even talking to each other. Sumer innocently explained that she liked cute things and wanted everyone to look cute. And when she first saw Rinko, she was interested about her fashion because Rinko looked like a doll in her dress. Sumer even complimented her beautiful straight hair and said that Rinko looks the cutest when she smiles. In the present, Rinko smiles radiantly after making the new hair tie. Sumer compliments her hair tie and says that next time they should wear matching hair ornaments. Sumer says that it's her dream to wear matching things with her friends and Rinko agrees with the idea. Rinko thinks to herself that Sumer lives in a totally different world, but whenever they are laughing together like this, she forgets about that. Rinko hopes that they could stay like this forever. Sumer says that she will start practicing more and get better at it. Rinko looks confused and asks why she wants to get better when her mother already makes so many accessories for her. Sumer explains that the ornaments she made are not for herself. She will give them to her mom on Mother's Day. Rinko is immediately reminded of the steep difference between their worlds and looks speechless. Sumer says that she wants to give something to her mom, who is always making stuff for her, and asks Rinko what she will be giving her mom on Mother's Day. Rinko remembers Mother's Day with her mom. She bought flowers for her mom and wanted to surprise her, but her mom just told Rinko to leave her alone. Rinko's eyes become jaded and empty, and she clenches the hair tie she made tightly in her hands. She says that she has nothing to give to H. Her mother because her mom is happiest when Rinko is gone. All three of them are surprised at the thing Rinko just said. Sumer is disappointed and asks Rinko why she said that, saying that she feels sorry for her mom. Sumer scolds Rinko, saying that even if what she just said was a lie, she shouldn't say something like that. After all, if someone as lovely as Rinko says that, her mother will surely be hurt. Sumer really can't understand the complexity of the situation and wonders if Rinko and her mom had a petty fight. She says that they should make up with each other as soon as possible, and tells Rinko that her mom will definitely be happy after receiving a gift from her. Rinko is reminded again and again about her painful memories and lashes out at Sumer for being painfully oblivious. She says Sumer doesn't know a single thing about her and her mom. Sumer is confused and wonders if she said anything wrong. After all, they should make up because they're a family. Sumer says that Rinko is the one who doesn't understand, and everything she's saying will make her mom sad. Rinko clenches the hair tie in frustration and yells at Sumer that she will never understand her. She thinks that Sumer will never understand because she doesn't know what it's like to be told that you're not wanted by your own mom. Sumer says that it's obvious her mother really loves her because there isn't a mother who doesn't love her child. Rinko can't stand this brilliantly shining love anymore. She becomes hopeless and tells Sumer to leave. Rinko opens the classroom door and immediately spots Sumer sitting across the room. An awkward silence fills the air, and the other kids wonder what's going on. Rinko wants to apologize for the other day, but can't muster up the courage to do so. They haven't said a word to each other since then, and Rinko wonders how they can make up after all this. Suddenly, she hears someone call out to her. She looks over to see a sad Sumer standing there. Rinko becomes worried and asks her what's wrong, and Sumer apologizes for yesterday. She tells Rinko that she's thought about it and realized that her words might have hurt Rinko. She says that she still isn't quite sure why Rinko got angry, but she knows she said something to make her upset. Rinko tells Sumer that she didn't do anything wrong. Sumer holds out her hand and gives Rinko something. Rinko looks down to see that it's the hair ties Sumer's mom made for her. She says that Rinko called these cute so she can have them. Rinko is hesitant, stating that her mom made that for her, but Sumer says it's okay and she wants Rinko to have it. She tells Rinko that she just wants to make up with her ugly friends. Rinko feels horrible about herself and runs away in tears. Rinko believes that the one who should have said sorry is her, but Sumer is the one who apologized. She feels so bad, but before she can feel any worse, Haruno grabs her from behind. He happily greets her and goes off about his usual shenanigans, telling her that he found a 500 yen coin on the road. She looks back at him in tears, and Haruno realizes that something is wrong. He gives Rinko something to drink and she thanks him. He tells her not to worry about it because he's rich today. Haruno tells her that we all have days when it's hard to even smile, but Rinko recalls how she was able to smile so easily with Sumer. Haruno notices the hair tie in her hand, remembering that it belongs to Sumer. Rinko tells him that she wanted to make up with Rinko, so she gave it to her even though it's her favorite, but she can't even bring herself to apologize to Sumer. Rinko tells him how much she likes Sumer, stating that if it wasn't for her, to school would have been much harder. She says that she's grateful to Sumer and doesn't want to do things that take her smile away. She grasps onto the hair tie and says that eventually Sumer will stop smiling at her because they live in completely different worlds. Sumer only knows the warmth and love of a family and knows nothing about being abandoned by one's own mother. Rinko breaks down in tears, admitting that she never understands a single thing when Sumer talks about her normal family. Rinko says she wants them to understand each other, but now even looking at this lovely hair tie hurts. Realizing that he must do something, Haruno asks Rinko to give him the hair tie so he can throw it away for her. Rinko becomes scared as he holds out his hand. Rinko asks him what he's talking about and he says that it's hurting her, so he will just throw it in the river real quick. Rinko shouts at Haruno for saying that. exclaiming that these are really important to Sumer. Haruno looks at her in confusion, stating that Rinko said they both live in different worlds. He tells her that from his perspective, all houses with the same windows that light up at night. But beyond those similar windows, every family is different on the inside, living in their own world. Every family has different food they eat, things they say, things they praise and reprimand. It's all different. He tells her that everyone is so different, so it's okay if they can't understand each other. Haruno looks at her and reassures her that if he was in her situation, he would feel the same way. He tells her that he would have given up on everything that hurts him and thrown it away. Rinko realizes that everyone lives in their own worlds and asks Haruno for a favor. The next day, Sumer is walking to school looking down when Rinko comes and tells her good morning. Rinko is wearing her hair in braids and using the hair ties that Sumer gave her. Rinko apologizes to Sumer, saying that back then she realized how different they were and she couldn't understand her even though they were friends. But then she realized that even though they didn't understand each other, she still liked Sumer and wants to be friends with her. Rinko reaches out and gives Sumer a pair of hair ties resembling the ones her mother made. Rinko tells her that she made it, and although she couldn't make it very good, it's supposed to be a matching pair. Sumer takes off her hair ties and puts the ones Rinko gave immediately. Sumer smiles happily and states that it's her dream to wear matching stuff with her friends. Rinko smiles back, and their beautiful friendship blossoms again like the cherry blossoms all around them. Haruno is smoking in the balcony when he remembers the favor Rinko asked for. She asked him to braid her hair again. She tells him that he's right about everyone living in their own worlds and completely understanding each other might be impossible, but even still, she believes that they can be friends. She puts on the hair ties given by Sumer and says that even though she's not good at it, she doesn't want to throw away her precious friend. Hermione looks defeated and admits that that might be the biggest difference between him and Rinko. All the women in Haruno has been with have the same complaint. They all ask him why he's so awfully kind to them when he doesn't care about them, and all his compassion and kindness are like poison to them. Haruno stands there helplessly as they all walk away from him. Haruno thinks to himself that it always ends like this because no matter what he does, his kindness is devoid of feelings. Haruno looks at the calendar, realizing that it's already been 2 months since he started living with Rinko. Suddenly, he notices something on the calendar that surprises him. A flower sticker is pasted on the calendar, and Haruno asks Rinko what it means. She tells him that her mom pasted that because that day it's her birthday. Haruno becomes excited about her birthday and says that they must celebrate and have a huge party. But he immediately reconsiders when he remembers he's dirt poor. To his surprise, Rinko seems enthusiastic and claims that she wants to try having a birthday party. Haruno was surprised and thinks that you wouldn't see her smiling like that 2 months ago. Haruno smiles happily and agrees, saying that they will celebrate it together. He says that he will make lots of food and put up decorations and make it the best birthday party ever. He suddenly gets an idea saying that he must prepare something. He says that he wants to buy her a present and shamelessly asks for pocket money. Rinko turns him down and says that just his thought is enough. On the day of Rinko's birthday, Haruno is putting up various decorations and he notices Rinko hard at work making something. He asks her what she's up to and she tells him that she's making confetti. Haruno says that it looks great and Rinko explains that she was thinking of getting party poppers, but they have thin walls and the party poppers are expensive. She tells him that they must save money wherever they can. She sadly states that the money left by her mom isn't going to last much longer, and she tells him that at this rate they won't even be able to be together by the time summer comes. She wonders if her mom will finally come back when that time comes. She wipes away the sadness with a beautiful smile, exclaiming that the confetti looks so pretty as it scatters around. Haruno is stunned. He also thought that Rinko's mom would come back today as it's her birthday, and she even put a cute sticker on this date. He realizes that the two of them don't have much time left together, but watching Rinko play around with a pure and blissful expression, Haruno wonders if he'll be able to feel fulfilled by making this child happy. After all the preparation is done, the house looks beautiful, and there's lots of delicious food set up on the table. Rinko is excited about all the food, but just before they can sit down to enjoy, Rinko realizes that they forgot about the cake. Haruno says that they forgot, so they will just have to go and buy it now. Rinko says that she's not used to enjoy a party and making all the preparations. They both leave the beautifully decorated house to go buy the cake and decide to have the party when they come back. Suddenly, the door creaks open, and a woman steps inside to see all the beautiful birthday decorations and food. After a while, Rinko and Haruno return with the cake. Rinko says she's glad they gave them candles too, and wonders if they still see her a child even though she's called now. Haruno replies that age is just a number when it comes to celebrating birthdays. Rinko jokes around saying that blowing out 12 candles seems like a lot of work. Suddenly, she notices something weird on the table. She looks down to see money on the table. Rinko grabs the money and starts trembling. She realizes that it's from her mom, which means she came back home. Her mom came back home, but left again. Haruno grabs onto Rinko and tells her that her mom might still be nearby. He says they should go look for her. They both head outside and run around looking for Rinko's mom. Rinko is flustered and upset, wondering why she left without saying anything. She recalls the money her mom left her and wonders if her mom has any idea how she feels seeing money on the table. Rinko suddenly trips and falls down, scarping her knee. She thinks that she is such an idiot. She already knew her mom doesn't want to live with her anymore. Rinko gives up and goes back to the cold, empty, dark house. Eventually, Haruno returns to the house out of breath and says that he couldn't find her. He asks her if she's had any better luck, but Rinko gets up sternly and walks towards him without saying a word. She gives all the money to Haruno, and he wonders what this is about. Her expression looks cold and empty as she thanks Haruno for everything until now. Haruno is confused, and Rinko explains that she thought her mom would eventually come back, so she kept waiting no matter how painful it was. But she finally realizes now that all of that was useless. She says that she's had enough of waiting around for someone who doesn't even want to live with her. She tells him that it will be difficult for them to live together with that much money anyway, so he can take all the remaining money and leave. He asks Rinko what she'll do. She tells him that she'll be fine because having this kind of money is pointless. Haruno accepts the money and states that he understands. He walks out and nothing but silence remains. The ticking clock is the only thing that can be heard, and it's almost midnight. All the beautiful birthday decorations and food look meaningless. Rinko sits down next to the table in the darkness all by herself and helplessly bites her nails. She kills nothing when she suddenly notices a piece of confetti on the ground. She picks it up only to throw it back down and wonders what the point of a birthday even is. She thinks to herself that maybe she shouldn't even have been born. She notices something rustle around in her pocket and finds a piece of paper. She clenches it hard in her hand and thinks that she needs to call that person. Suddenly, the door opens, and the bright moonlight pierces through the darkness of her house. She looks over and notices Haruno standing in the door with his usual bright smile. He confirms that it isn't midnight yet and says that he's glad he made it in time. He seems to have a bag filled with money on his back. He grabs the money and scatters it around like confetti as he wishes Rinko happy birthday. He smiles with compassion and says that this money is his birthday present for her. Rinko can't believe what's happening and begins to cry as Haruno tells her to take care of him with all this money. He sits down next to her smiling radiantly, with money piling up around them.